Welcome. Today I'm going to show you guys how to play Barenpark. Now this is a tile laying game that you're going to try to fill in these park entrances here. You start with, every player will start with a park entrance, but you're going to try to fill in this entire park entrance plus 3 other park areas that you will obtain during the course of the game. The player who finishes 4 of these supposed tiles, the first player to do that, will trigger the end of the game. So you're going to get 3 more of these tiles added onto your park. When you get them, you'll get to put them wherever you want, as long as they're adjacent like this, not like this. That's not allowed. But you can make them adjacent like this. This is also not allowed. You're not supposed to put them down here either, because this is the entrance to the park. So there shouldn't be another section of the park in front of your entrance. That just doesn't make sense. But regardless, you'll be able to choose where each of these park area tiles are going to go, and you're going to have 4 of them at the end of the game. So when you completely finish one, then obviously you'll definitely have at least 1 more of these already available, because this one here, so this space here on the tile is a construction crew. And so whenever you place a tile, you should try to place it on a spot, unless you're trying to fill in a gap and you have tons of tiles to place. You should try to place it in a spot that's going to obtain you something else. These are green wheelbarrows. These are white cement trucks. So if you place a tile on a green wheelbarrow, you're going to get to choose tiles from here, here, or even these little tiny ones, which are these little bathrooms. So you'll get to choose one of the 4 for the green areas here if you place a tile that's on a green wheelbarrow. If you place a tile that's on a white cement truck, then you'll be able to choose from one of the 4 different animal houses. So we have the Gobi bear animal house, the polar bear animal house, the giant panda animal house, and up here we have the koala animal house as well. So if you place a tile down on the white cement truck, you'll get to choose one of those 4 to add to your supply. And these are the construction crews. So if you place a tile down on the construction crew here, for instance, then you're going to obtain another one of these random piles from two separate piles, and you can choose which pile you want and add one to the equation. So once you get the 4th tile, once you have 4 tiles and you put a tile, place a tile on this construction crew, you can no longer get more tiles. 4 is the max you'll always be able to get. So that's the object, to try to complete all 4 of these areas before the other players. And you only start with 1. So you'll have to obviously place a tile on the construction crew and get another tile. Now there's something else that comes on the other tiles that you'll also get. This is a orange excavator, and they're not on the park entrance tile. So in order to get them, you're going to have to obviously get an additional tile like these. And then when you place a tile here on the orange excavator, you can then obtain these larger animal enclosures here. So you can choose the polar bears here. These are koala bear tiles. These are Gobi bear tiles. And these are giant panda bear tiles. And you'll notice they each come in different shapes. This shape, for instance, is pretty unique. This one over here is pretty unique. Up here, this one here, this arch is pretty unique. So, and even this one here is fairly unique as well. So the other shapes are kind of similar to each other. But they're all still very different. So you may not necessarily choose your favorite animal. You'll most likely choose a shape that works best for your park. Now, the only tiles here that are going to score you points in this game are these special bear monuments, which you'll get only maximum of 4 anyway, or as many as these you can get. So the max you'll get is 3 of these. You're only going to get a maximum of 3 of these. a maximum. You might not even get all 3, and they might not all fit either. So you'll have to obviously sort of plan ahead almost. And then you're also going to get points for the animal houses as well. But you will never score points for the green areas. So you don't want to get too many green areas because they're not going to score you any points in the game. But they are necessary because there's going to be lots of spots where you can only fill in 1 square, for instance. And then, you're going to need the bathrooms for that one, obviously. Now, another thing you'll notice on these tiles is they each have a pit. So this is a pit, this is a pit, that's a pit, and obviously that's a pit. So you are actually not allowed to place tiles on the pit. So when you try to fill in the entire park, you can never place a tile on this spot here. So you're going to have to work around it, placing tiles. The cool thing is when you place a tile, you can flip it around, they're double-sided, and try to get the best possible shape for you. But you can never place the normal tile. You can never place any of these tiles there. But when you have completed the rest of this park area here, once you've completed the rest of it, except for this, you'll get a bear statue or monument, and you'll get to place it on the pit. It's going to give you a ton of points, so you'll definitely want to do it. And the first player that manages to put down 4 of these bear monuments or statues will end the game. Of course, when a player does that, every other player will still get 1 more turn as well, and maybe they will also get to fill in the pit too. Maybe. But that's only if they are able to do it on their next turn after the first player that manages to do that. So that's basically how this game works. So you're just trying to get tiles, you're trying to get more tiles, and that's another thing. Every player will start out with just 1 tile. So they're obviously only going to start with their park entrance tile, but the piles they will start with are these bathrooms or these playgrounds, for instance. If you're playing a 2-player game, the first player starts with the bathroom. If you're the second player, you'll start with the playground. If you're playing a 3-player game, the third player is going to get this tile here, which is the shop tile. And if you're playing a 4-player game, the second and third player will get the playground, and the 4th player will get the shop tile. So it sort of evens out, because obviously if you were first player, you would have the advantage of finishing first. But since the second player gets a bigger starting tile, it kind of evens out the possibility of who will finish first. And like I said, if you want to get ahead as fast as possible, placing your tile here, for instance, on these white cement trucks, will give you access to the bigger tiles, which will give you access to more tiles. So on your turn, you're allowed to do 1 placement. You're only allowed to place 1 tile. You could have 3 or 4 tiles in your supply, but you're only allowed to place 1 tile per turn. And then at the end of your turn, if you've finished the entire park, then you'll get to put a bear monument here on the pit, and then that ends your turn. Now, if you don't have any tiles at all, that can happen. Let's say on my first turn, I decided to place this bathroom right here on this empty square, and you're allowed to do that. But if you did that, you would not get any more tiles that turn, and obviously that would end your turn. Then on your next turn, you would have absolutely no tiles. And so on that turn, you would only be allowed to take 1 green area of your choice, and then you wouldn't even get to place it down. You'd only get to take a free green tile, but you wouldn't even be able to place it down. So basically, your turn would be basically passed on to the next player. So you don't want to put this down in a spot that doesn't have a green barrel at least. If it doesn't at least have a green barrel that you're placing down a tile, then you don't want to do that, unless, of course, you have no other option. But if you do that in the beginning of the game, you never want to do it this way. You don't want to miss a lot of turns, because if you do that, the other player will definitely finish first. So you don't want to have your turn skipped or passed by doing that too often, if you can help it. So place it here, for instance, and then if I had placed it on the green wheelbarrow, for instance, then I'll get to take a green tile of my choice, maybe a river, for instance. I'd add it to my supply, my turn would be done, the next player would place their tile down, they'd place it there, ooh, on the white cement truck, and then they'd get to take an animal house of their choice. Ooh, how about this one? And they would put it into their supply, and their turn would be done. And that's basically how this game is going to work. If they fill in an area, they'll get the additional placement of the bear statue for their pit, but then that's it. So that's basically how the game's going to work. So I'm going to do a gameplay video of how this game works in the next video, how this game will play out. And thank you guys for watching this how to play video. See you guys in the next video.